Welcome to a special episode of perSPECtive. It's the first video of 2020. We're here. We made it. What?
First 2021.
Son of a bitch.
2020 is over.
It's right.
Finally.
No, this is the first video we filmed in 2020.
Last video.
The last video we filmed.
The last video we filmed in 2020.
2020's fucked with Ryan a lot, as you can tell.
I thought about a lot what I was going to say. Welcome to our first video of 2021.
Yeah.
Yes. We're going to have a look back on 2020 in the games that we really loved.
Yes.
So, we're going to do our top 5 games that we enjoyed from last year. But to get started, how would you guys like to describe 2020 in terms of board games?
As much of the chaos that 2020 was in general, it was a pretty damn good year for board games, though. Yeah. I mean, shipping delays, Kickstarter delays, and like all that logistic stuff. The games that came out this year are pretty great.
Yeah, I think a lot. We made a pretty long list. Our list came up to like 50 something of games we wanted to play. Some we owned. There were some we had yet to play.
Yeah.
But there was a whole lot there that we tried to get as many as we could in.
Yeah.
With everything going on, it was with Max being gone a whole month, they couldn't play with us.
Yeah.
Yeah, just our own schedules.
And there's some games that we haven't even gotten in the States yet that came out this year that we want to play.
Let's Max, turn your phone off. Let's get started with number 5 for all of us.
Yes.
I think we did our best to kind of rate them from 1 to 5. It was a really difficult one. It was hard to choose.
And just to clarify too with the list, we are including expansions that came out this year and even re-releases.
Yes. But you know what? Before we go to our top 5, we all have an honorable mention that we also have that just didn't quite make the list, but was so close, because really hard to put that into 5. But, Max, would you like to start us off with an honorable mention?
Yeah, I have it right here.
Oh, okay.
Red Cathedral. We just snuck this in, a play-in of this, and
probably our last game of the year.
Yeah.
Our last game of the year.
And this definitely, having had more plays of it, maybe would have been on my list, but I just am not sure because I've only got one play of it. But definitely like this one, and yeah, it's my honorable mention. I don't have it, but I'm gonna go get it because it's great.
I have a feeling all of us are gonna go buy this game after
Except
one
for me, because I already own it.
It's a great game that's at a great price for especially how much game comes in that box.
Yeah.
And the production's done really well, and there's a lot of variability, and it's really fun. Definitely want more plays of that, and like I said, it probably would have made my top 5 list had I gotten more plays. Probably would have bumped one of my other games off, but as is, it's my honorable mention.
We all probably can honorable mention it. I couldn't personally put it on my list now because we did only play it once.
Don't speak for me.
Just now. Okay, well, sorry. Maybe it's on Keegan's list. Okay, we don't know each other's list quite yet, but it's definitely a double honorable mention for me. I have another honorable mention, but
what's yours?
But before I say, playing this, I got a lot of the. Is it Lorenzo Magnifico with those towers? Right, you're trying to get them, right. And I really liked it. I had a lot of fun with that game, with Red Cathedral, and you said a lot of variability, but that also goes into replayability.
Yes.
Because there's some I think. When we say replayability, and this time, I think you can play it many times, unlike Tungaro, where it had some replayability.
Yeah.
But after a certain amount, the replayability on it was really the same thing. You weren't getting a whole lot of replayability, whereas this could really change up. Like, you could do it a lot, and it still feel pretty fresh.
Yeah, there's some game. It's like one of those games too where it feels like it doesn't need an expansion to be replayable. Like there's a good amount of games that the base game you can be done with, but then expansion comes in and livens the game back up again for a short period of time, or maybe permanently. Like an expansion almost fixes the game in a way. And I think this game is just solid as it is. It doesn't need anything.
Yeah, definitely. My honorable mention is Tawantinsuyu. I do have it right here. Tawantinsuyu, one of the T games that we will be doing one of these months.
The T series?
The T series.
By David Turtsey, and we should say who did Red Cathedral also. Just
Oh yeah, Red
I don't
Cathedral.
know that we're gonna, if we don't, okay.
We'll do it. Don't worry, we'll get
It'll
back
be
to
in
that
this
one.
thing.
I promise.
So yeah, Tawantinsuyu, of the T games that came out year with Tekkenu, I liked this one more than Tekkenu. Both were very good, but this one, it's this tiering, the tier level of decision that you're doing was really interesting for me. I felt a little less randomness needed with Tawantinsuyu than Tekkenu, and so this one clicked with me a bit more than Tekkenu. Really, that's kind of where I'm.
Where you're sitting.
I guess sitting, but like judging these two, where this kind of comes into the honorable mention over Tekkenu.
yeah, cool. It's okay to be wrong.
Okay.
We'll see what
Done. You're out.
We'll see what the rankings are for, because I feel like our ranks for the T games are going to be very different for each of us.
Yeah.
You and I might line up as slightly more. Maybe I don't know. We'll
We
see.
haven't played Tawantinsuyu yet.
I've not.
It's
I
good.
want to. My honorable mention is right there, the Rococo Deluxe Edition. Rococo, for me, has a very special place in my heart for personal reasons. So I was hunting down the expansion for the base game for the longest time, so I had the whole base game completed, and then literally a week after I got the final piece I was missing, they announced the reprint. I was like, oh, well, I'm great. I'm still keeping both because I love it, but Rococo's new edition by Eagle Griffin Games and the art by Ian O'Toole makes that game, it's going to make the game hit the table so much more. Rococo is one of those games for me, and my wife especially, that every time we take it out, we go, why don't we play this more? Like, we play, like, why is this not at the table more often? And then we don't play for 3 more months. Like, it's great. I love Rococo.
Yeah, we need to play that.
Interesting.
'cause I
That's an
haven't played it
honorable
yet.
mention and not quite on the list. So
It's
these
not-
other games you say must be real good.
Yeah.
If you're saying Rococo is an honorable mention.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll have my reasoning. I'll explain my list when we get to
Okay.
it. There's a special thing with my list.
I start with number 5?
Do we just go right in? I guess.
Let's go right into it.
Otherwise, we're going to be here for like 2 hours.
Yeah, it's gonna be
My number 5 is a smaller game. Do the Rodney.
The flip.
I'm not good at it. That's all my boxes end up damaged. Is Calico by Kevin Russ.
Can you say that again?
Calico.
Okay.
It's a quick little tile laying game. It looks really cute. It's really mean. I thought about kickstarting this when it came out on Kickstarter, but I already kickstarted Isle of Cats, and I didn't think I needed 2 cat games in my life, and I was wrong. I'm actually gonna put it here, just completely block out Ryan. Calico, yeah, it's a fun little tile laying game. Real quick, real nice production. The boards and all the tiles, everything's thick and chunky and nice, and it's like a drafting tile laying thing you're doing.
Pattern building.
Yeah, pattern building, lots of different ways to score points and screw people over by taking the tiles they need. And it's really just tense. The whole time it's very tense because every move you make, you're usually screwing yourself over somewhere else. So there's a lot of real fun decisions in this game. So that's my number 5.
Cool.
Number 5, Calico for Max. Okay. Keegan?
I'm next?
Yeah. What you
Okay.
got for us?
I got my number 5 on my list that I had pulled up. Okay, number 5 has already been mentioned. My number 5 is Tekkenu.
Okay. Interesting.
Like Ryan said, I haven't got to play Tawantinsuyu yet, but I've read the rules for Tawantinsuyu and I've watched multiple playthroughs. I haven't personally played it yet, but I still think I'm gonna like Tekkenu more. I also just am a sucker for Egypt-themed stuff. I love Egyptian stuff. It goes back to my childhood where I was obsessed with
Where you lived
everything.
in Egypt? Ancient Egypt?
I wish I did. I wanted that for my life so bad.
You really like The Mummy growing up? Brendan Fraser?
I didn't like that. I liked the actual history of Egypt and stuff, and the gods and everything I thought was cool. So anything Egypt themed is already gonna have a sweet spot for me. But I really like the whole idea of the obelisk and the using the dice and balancing the scales is really cool because it's actual based off of Egyptian like folklore tales where when you die and you potentially get your heart eaten by an alligator. But Kenu's great. I want to play it more. There's so many cool like routes you can take in that game.
It's such a weird mechanic, getting your heart eaten within the game.
I mean, I didn't survive, but I lost horribly, but I want to play the game more. Like, just my list in general is going to be games that had a really, really strong first impression on me. That they're going to hit my list, which is why Rococo's an honorable mention, because I have so much experience with the game already, and I know it has a solid spot for me, that I want to talk about games that just really, like, knocked it out of the park, even just from one or two plays.
Okay.
Yeah,
Tekenu. My number 5, well, first, 4 of my games are expansions that came out this year.
Yay!
But they're for all games that I really love. And I felt all of them did a fantastic job implementing the expansions into the game. None of them felt like they were fixing the game or bloated the game by added them. I thought they all just sort of built on what was already there. And
4 of them?
4 of them, that's right. So my number 5... Oh God, I haven't even fully thought of which one is my number 5 because they're like all right there. But I think Oceania, Wingspan Oceania, is number 5. It added a whole bunch of new birds, which is always fun.
Yep.
Added some new bird mechanics that they do. This year's was that at the end you could do certain actions too at the end of the game, which is interesting, could help mitigate some a turn that you could then go and use at something else, knowing that you could potentially just... Damn it, Keegan.
Was that me? I'm on silent, that's on me.
It's not me.
Oh God, my...
Is that your notification for...
I don't know what it's for. Jesus. So like I was saying, it could say, give you an action to play a bird at the end of the game. So you don't even have to use one of your actions to play that bird. Like play a bird, you can go and do something else. It's really interesting. As well as adding nectar, which was a wild, which I know we did a video. Keegan didn't like it too much. I did really like the wildness of what nectar was, as well as creating that interesting area majority aspect to it that was cool. You didn't really need to plan around it. You just sort of use them and it could abuse them. Yeah, you could build a whole engine around that, like I did my first game. I really liked it and super excited to see what the next expansion
comes out with new player boards too, doesn't it?
It does, yeah. It adds and makes the player boards a little bit more clear on what you're doing on your actions, which I thought was a really nice touch. Just a really nice quality of life thing that they added to it.
And then you can get resources a bit easier too, which is really nice.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So that's my number 5. Number 4.
Do you want a snake draft?
I will snake draft, yeah. My number 4 is the only actual new game. Not expansion. And I know you both... No.
Did I play it?
I don't know that you played it. You played it with us. You don't want to play it again. It's not an expansion. It's a very big game.
Oh,
it's about
on Mars, yeah.
On Mars. Yeah, we played it. It is a Lacerda game that is another. It's a heavy game of his. Probably one of the more heavy.
Kanban?
I think so. I really enjoyed Kanban. I also forgot about Kanban.
Mainly because we don't have a physical copy.
Yeah, we played it on Tabletopia.
So could we really count it in... I don't know that we can fully count it in our 2020 because we haven't received it in 2020.
But it is a 2020 released game.
Fair enough. So we just don't have it.
Yeah, just don't have it. Yeah.
So that's why I'm going to go with On Mars.
Sure.
Watching the videos and stuff, it was a little tricky trying to figure out how you're going to be, what your strategy really is going to be. Like you're just going to start doing things and then you'll kind of figure out the one strategy you want to go with. But for me, it took me only one turn and I was like, oh shit, I know what I'm doing here. Like everything's just started clicking and I'm like, okay, I got my path. I'm done. I know what I'm fucking doing. Like I don't need to just sort of do random things to then make it all connect and then realize, oh, that's where I should have gone and maybe next play, I'm going to try this particular path because now I understand where it's going to come. One turn, I'm like, oh, I know a path. I'm doing it.
Nice.
I had the exact opposite gameplay. I was like, by the end of the game, I was like, oh, that's what I should have done.
I mean, pretty much everyone we played with was like that. It was Aiden and Lauren.
Yeah.
I think everyone was just trying to figure out what the hell was going on, and I'm just like, no, I got this. This is.
Yeah.
But I think most of Lacerda games, I felt like that with Lisboa. It seemed a lot at first, but then as soon as you start playing, I'm like, oh, okay, I get it. I know where my path of points I'm just going to go for.
Lacerda games have this really weird thing where you're playing it, and then out of nowhere, it just clicks. Mm-hmm. Like, sometimes earlier for people than others, but like, there's just a point in the game where you just, you have that, like, you're seeing the future in the universe moment where everything just goes, I got this, like I figured it out now.
So I think those type of games, I mean, you can see the type of player I am. If you're the type of player like me who can kind of get that quick, listening to our videos, listening to my opinion will probably be more of your best bet to try to figure out if you like a game. If you're a lot more like me, I'll let you know.
We have
one of those heavier, because I know these guys. It may not, you may like them, but probably not as much as I do.
The heavy games?
The heavier ones that or just click with me more, and it seems with you guys, like quicker. Like these things just click with me a little quicker.
It depends on the game. It's just also, we have very different play styles. Ryan, you're very much strategy and long term, and I'm very much tactical and in the moment. Like if there's a game where it's like every turn changes, I need to figure out the best move for the turn, I'm usually better with those. And spatial awareness games because you're bad at those.
I'm very I will kind of shit on spatial awareness, so don't take my criticism with a grain of salt because I am very opinionated on.
I need more playthroughs of On Mars. I liked it all right. I liked Kanban more, and I don't know something with it. I heard this critique for another game and I thought it was stupid, but I feel this way with On Mars. But I feel like you're struggling so hard to make 17 things line up to get like 2 points, which points shouldn't matter, but I feel like if I work that hard I should get like 100 points, not 2. And there are other games that are like so free with their points. It's like here's 50 points, here's 75 points. So that was, and it just felt very incremental. Like, oh, you took a shortcut, you didn't have to do 17 things, you did 13 things, and you got 4 points. Where it just like, you eke those little things, and that's a Lacerda game, I guess. And to me, that just wasn't as much fun.
I easily see those like more optimal routes that I need to be taking, and I can see them quicker, which allows me to then do it throughout the game. Like, whereas you guys, like, it may take longer, so then by the time you notice it, it's already a little too late to really focus on that one. Whereas I can pick it up immediately and then just start going for it.
We're much more game 2 people.
Like enough humble bragging.
I'm just saying it because this is my. Other ones, no, I can't.
It's a good game.
It was interesting, but it wasn't as.
On Mars, a good description there from the person I bought my copy from said he sold it because he's not sure if the juice is worth the squeeze. So I can see that being a big thing with probably any Lacerda game, but especially On Mars, where hearing that's probably his big boy of all his games he has out.
Kanban might have made my list if we had played the physical, if we had had it and played the physical, but I didn't know whether
that one feels like a physical game.
Whether or not,
for sure.
I cannot wait.
It would be a lot more fun to do than the online. Online it was really fun, but it was like a.
All right, let's
keep going.
Yeah.
All right.
4.
Enough this Lacerda lust. My number 4 is a game that was probably one of my most anticipated games of the year. I was very excited about it when I heard about it. And that's Bonfire. I love Bonfire. It makes me realize why I like Feld so much. And that was one of the few games that we played this year that legit every time something came out, we went, oh, what does that do? Like, the gnome cars are so overpowered in the best possible way. I'm also a sucker for games where everything in the game is overpowered. I love games where there's one card of it, and it's super OP, but everything is OP. Like, I love games like that.
Have you played Marco Polo?
Not yet.
Oh, okay.
I really need to. And Marco Polo 2, which we haven't played yet. But games like that are great, and Bonfire definitely has that in it. We were playing it, and Max pointed out, like, the game of Bonfire isn't the gnome cards.
Yeah, it didn't click for me. It like I was watching the video reviews and stuff. I was like, okay, this just seems like regular stuff. And then when it got to the gnome part, I was like, oh, there it is.
It has like similar ideas to Luna, where you're spending action tokens to do actions. But like the action tokens in Luna, you have to spend them on a specific island to take that action. Whereas this, you spend the token, you can kind of go and do something wherever.
Which I did terrible. I did so bad with that.
But the Bonfire is great. It's really good. A lot of people say it's failed going back to form. Because some of his games might have felt not felled enough, I guess. I don't know. We're gonna do a felled month.
Because why do you have to do
the same thing over and over?
Yeah, like, okay, just because you have doesn't mean
you should.
You should, yeah. Let him branch out.
Like,
let him.
It does. Stay in that corner.
Stay in that goddamn corner.
Uwe can only do farming and Tetris. That's it. He's done. No, but we're gonna have a felled month, and we're gonna play as many felled games as we possibly can get our hands on. Yes. And I can see Bonfire being really high up there for me.
Yeah, I really liked it.
I don't think it's going to be Castles of Burgundy for me, but Bonfire is super solid.
That was your top for a long while.
Castle of Burgundy is my number 2 game of all time, and I don't think it's ever going to move. But Bonfire is very, very, very good.
Interesting. Okay.
All right, my number 4 is a throwback to our first video, and that is Iwari. It's right there, maybe in the shot. I don't know. Yeah, Iwari is area control game and area sort majority. Of area majority game, and you have cards that you're kind of trying to make sets of so that you can have the majority and control. And we have video on it. You can go look it up. But it's a really beautiful game, and we haven't played it in a bit, but I want to.
I haven't played it at all.
Yeah,
so
you haven't played it at all.
You guys.
And it's one I've thought about since we've done it, and when I was looking at games that came out, that one stuck out. I was like, oh yeah, that was a really enjoyable experience. It was really
we played
fun.
Multiple times in a row, which doesn't usually happen with us. We want to play a new one.
It's got a special place because I think it was our first video, and I was like, yeah, that was a really, really solid game, and I really like it. I recommend it. So that when I was thinking of the list, I was like, that barely beat out Calico. I've probably played Calico more times than I've played Iwari, but just the player interaction in Iwari is really fun. And Calico is more of a, there is taking things from each other, but it's not as, doesn't feel as drastic maybe as in Iwari, where you're cutting somebody off or you build a totem and knock them out, and there was a lot more yelling at each other. I feel like Iwari was a constant like, don't take that, so Iwari is my number 4.
For Iwari, area majority, area control, what else I was going to say, timing game.
Yeah.
And those aren't my strong suit, and this one though hit it out of the park. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah,
it's not usually my favorite types of games. Like, that's the main thing. The whole game is area control, area majority. That's it. Like, there's really no other aspect to it. But I really enjoyed it. Then the art really drew me in. The pieces really drew me in.
Yeah,
and
it
just enhanced it a lot. So, yeah.
We need to play The King is Dead, because it's very similar with area control and its timing. You have 8 cards and that's it. And you pick when you want to do something, and you may just not do anything. So that'd be a fun one for us to try.
So my number 3 has already been said. It's Bonfire. I'm a Stefan Feld fanboy, and that is definitely up high on my list of his games. It just felt like a nice, heavier. Once it all clicks, it clicks, and similar to Kenyu, Kenyu has those technology cards and blessing cards, which I feel like sort of make the game. And everything Keegan said, it's just a solid game, and I was really glad to play it. Want to play it more?
I think, honestly, when I was thinking about Bonfire, it's a really good kind of intro to engine building.
I don't know about intro.
I mean, like, because there are such, like, overpowered cards, it really, suggests that you, like, pick one and then go with that one. Do it. Build that engine up for that first card that you took. That
was my problem. I picked 6 of them, and I only needed 2.
And then I went with one with the whole moving, and I'm just like, I'm going to go hard on that. Like, I'm just going to use this because it's so overpowered.
Yeah.
and it just suggests like do that one because it's so overpowered. Like
It
it's so
It
powerful.
ended up being shorter than I thought. Like I thought I had way more time in the game, and we were even warned you're gonna have less time than you think. So the game just like it was going, and it was done.
Because of that too, you like when you get your first what is it the elves the gnomes
the cards the gnomes
yeah the gnomes you pick one. And then when your second one that you want to pick, base it off that first one. Because it's too short, you want those two to click together.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of like teaching you for ones that are a little less overpowered. You can kind of see, oh, this is how how I should think about an engine, right?
Right.
Because you're like, dang, these are so overpowered. If I put them together, bam, now I kind of understand and see how engine building can be. Can I now do it to a game where it may take 3 or 4 of them to start building that engine up?
Yeah.
That's why I kind of think of like almost like a spinner, because it's so overpowered, it just throws it at you.
Yeah, I don't know about like
The game itself is not fully.
No, if I would want to teach
beginner.
someone engine building, I wouldn't throw Bonfire at them. I would probably like, we should play Wingspan, because that's somewhat of an engine builder, like pretty much is an engine builder. Or like even like you want something a little bit more spicy, let's play Res Arcana. Like those are going to be my like go-to engine building.
Yeah, maybe not
teach
like
games,
a beginner, but maybe the next step.
Oh,
It's not so, I mean, it looks complicated, but it's really not that complicated.
No, that's in one of those games we talked about the rules and we each took a turn and go, got it, and then we were good.
Although, caveat, the iconography is horrendous.
Yeah.
I mean, you get it, but like we were having to have the rule book out the whole time, being
Yeah.
like, this does what? And that actually ended up messing most of my game up, because I thought it was like, oh, if you had 4 of these portal entrances, you're solid. But it was like, no, it was 4 of the same color, and it was just...
It was stupid that they had teal and blue.
Yeah, you
and
just...
like, I was just like, this keeps confusing me, because there was a teal, and it looked very much like blue to me.
It's the continuous tradition that Fel games don't look great.
Yeah.
Except for the back of the board is beautiful.
But looking great shouldn't matter. You should just, why wasn't it not in orange or something that clearly stood out from the actual player's colors?
That's fair.
That's a
But
problem.
the gameplay surpasses the problems with the iconography.
Like, can we just
It's worth
Can we
going
just
through.
repaint? Can you just paint the blue like orange? So that it's just then
If you ever want to resell
No,
it.
thank you. That's too much work. I'm never gonna sell it. You kidding? That game's great.
Yeah.
Okay.
You wanted to go?
I'll do number 3.
Yeah.
So another expansion
Yes.
to a game that is in my top 10, and that is the expansion to Architects.
Oh,
And
really
that is
interesting.
Age of Artisans. It adds 2 new kind of big features to the game that, like I said earlier, it doesn't bloat the game, doesn't need to fix it, just adds a cool aspect to the game, and that is the workers that help you build the buildings, they actually get tools that kind of help you just make them, boost them up a little, give a little bonus for when you're actually specifically using them, right? So it's not just buying them and you're like, great, he has the tool.
Yeah.
Right? Now it kind of like adds on a little bit to it. You're like, whenever you use a building that guy can build, you can get some bonus or something, right? So it just kind of adds a little extra aspect to it, as well as the buildings, you can actually add adornments to them to give you more points or something, right? So it's just building onto it that's already there. The game didn't need to be fixed. It's just a fun, cool aspect that they brought into it. And I was like, that was a lot of fun.
2021 spoiler, the next Architects of the West Kingdom expansion is going to be on Ryan's top 5 again.
Something Wonders.
Age of Wonders?
No, it's a WW game. Like it's
World War?
it's a World War game. No, it's the alliteration.
Oh, okay.
Works of Wonders.
Wizards.
Wizards.
Wildly Wonders.
Wildly. I think it's Works of Wonders.
Cool.
Something like that. Yeah.
We'll
So
have to
that's
play
my number 3. Keegan.
My number 3 is not an expansion, because none of mine are.
One of mine is.
I really wanted to put Root on there, the Root expansion. It seems like, because we played Root back in February, and it's like, man,
Yeah.
they did come out this year, holy cow.
Yeah.
But
Oh my gosh.
my number 3 is a game that I have loved more and more every time I played it. Like, I had a good first impression on it, but the more I've played it and I've taught it a couple times now, I've just been like, yeah, this is great, I want to play it more. You haven't played it yet, Max, and that is Lost Ruins of Arnak.
Oh,
I think Lost Ruins of Arnak is great.
that was going to be my other honorable mention, but we only gave one, so.
Yeah, it
Because
was.
I really know I'm going to like it.
It's very solid. I played it 2-player twice, and I've taught a 3-player game and then moderated it because I didn't have time to actually participate in the game online. But it's so good, and it's from first-time designers, which is wild how solid that game is. It deck builder, kinda. I mean, you're building a deck, but it's really like you don't get to necessarily use your cards all
It's like worker placement deck builder, right? That seems to be
it's the hybrid of it, but it's not like if you're thinking deck builder like Clank, you're not going through your deck as much as you do in Clank. Clank is much more of a deck builder game, but this game, like, you have so many cool options that you can take. The routes, all to an extent, you kind of want to do a little bit of everything, but you can kind of win the way you want to win if you're doing it like efficiently. I'm going to put the thing out there if you haven't played it or you have played. 100% unlock new locations. It's kind of the point of the game. It's called Lost Ruins of Arnak, not Lost. I'm going up a temple. Like, find locations because those give you.
I don't know what any of that means because I haven't played the game yet.
You just get, like Ryan knows, like our first game we only unlocked 3 locations and I did all of them. And then I played another game with my wife and we unlocked 6 or 7 locations, and it made us do a whole bunch more stuff. My wife's final turn, she did 9 things when I was done already, because she had so much stuff like available to her. It's such a solid game. There's a lot of replayability in it because you will not go through the whole deck of cards available in the market in a game. You'll go through maybe 10 or 12 in a 2-player game at most. There's a double-sided board, and the other side of the board changes the game a bit. There's a really, really solid solo mode if you're into solo gaming, and the designers have said they're going to make a campaign version of the game, which seems very exciting. And they've also already put up more solo player content for free that you can download.
Right.
So it's very, very good.
Yeah, when you play it.
It's solid. It's also from Czech Games Edition, and they make great games. They made Through the Ages, and they publish it, and that's one of our favorites. So
the new one. Both of them?
They did both, I believe.
The Bodovums?
The Bodovums.
Bodovums.
I didn't get a start yet, so I'll do my number 2.
Yeah, we're going like that. Right?
Red Cathedral. Like we said, or like Max said, this was our last game of the year probably.
Don't worry about it.
It went somewhere, but it's our last game of the year that we're gonna play together. And games that can make a good solid first impression on me really like just solidify themselves for me as like a good game. Red Cathedral is just great. It's just you get so much game in that small box. There's a lot of replayability.
There's so much going on in it. Like I did not realize the like area control of the cathedrals mixed with like trying to get the there's a lot you have to.
And you only have 3 options for your actions, but those 3 options are very, very important.
It's a very simple game to teach.
Yeah, that's the other reason I like it too. You could probably teach this to people that have played games before. I don't know if you want to teach it to someone who's never played a game because there's a lot of systems that they might not understand. Mainly the tower stuff might be a little bit weird. But
the area majority with the
especially because they're just trying to like think about getting resources to do it, then also having to think about the area majority and timing.
Yeah,
putting those up, it might be a little like.
And the fact that there's technically
let them play some other games to kind of get the understanding of what mechanics are.
And the double scoring track technically too is weird.
That's really cool.
Honestly, the dice mechanic in the middle for gaining resources, I think, is the coolest part of the game.
I mean, I like it.
The dice system's awesome.
There wasn't too many times. Well, there was a couple times like, oh damn, none of these dice I want them to go
that happened to me
anywhere.
like every time. That's why I wasn't building stuff. That's why I was just taking and hoping to get the right dice. But yeah, and I really like the thing of like you can upgrade dice so that when you pick that dice, it gives you a different benefit.
Yeah,
upgrade. It's your workshop, whatever they call it.
There's just a lot of like cool things going on in the game, especially for how small the box is, and it's $35.
Yeah, that's an incredible price.
It's a fantastic deal.
Fantastic deal. That game's gonna be one of my backpack games. Like if I go visit friends in another state, or whenever we can travel again, like when it's safe to travel and I can go see people again, that game's going thrown in my backpack and going everywhere with me.
Well, I think we knocked out our first game with a teach in like an hour. Or something, like with a 3-player game. So yeah,
it's very good. If you can find a copy of it right now, because I know it's kind of hard to get it.
Get it.
There's another game by that company that they released this year that we haven't played yet that I really want to play, Polis, and I feel like that can maybe get up. I'm going to do a retroactive 2020 list, I'm saying, because I want to play Polis, I want to play Praga Kaput Redni, I want to play Anno 1800, I want to play Hallertau, so there's like a lot of games we haven't played yet that are going to be great, so I'm going to do a retroactive list, but as of right now, Red Cathedral is really high up there for me. It's very good.
My number 2?
Yeah.
Yep, number 2. You said you already kind of mentioned it, but it didn't make it quite on your list.
Yep.
Root, Underworld. Man, we were so excited waiting for this Kickstarter game to come in, and we tried to do a take off of work and just play it all day, but I think both of us ended up getting it without a shipping notification.
Yeah, just surprisingly just showed up.
Which kind of stinks because we did want to take off specifically so that we could
just play all
day. It. Yes, but Oh my gosh! Right, so we
And then the
ended up going to my
pandemic happened.
we ended up going to my cabin and playing it, and had so much fun with it. The new, I think we both got the player mat.
We got everything.
Oh
We
my
both
god,
got
the
everything.
player mat is
Yeah.
beautiful. The colors
is.
are vibrant, and like it just as a mat, it worked. It just looked beautiful. The new factions are fantastic. I never really cared for the cats for Marquis too much, but the moles were so much fun. It's my new favorite faction. It was Iwari, but now it's them. Something with them. Moles are very similar to cat, but for the moles just clicked somehow, and it was just a
they're
whole. It
very
was so
good.
much fun playing that faction.
The Corvette's really cool.
Yeah.
You're not a solo player.
I'm
but
not.
I can say on my experience, because I have 30 plays of Root Clocked, and more than half are probably solo plays,
Yeah.
that the Clockwork expansion is great. I was playing the Clockwork stuff before it got officially released, because Benjamin, I don't know his last name or his BGG username, the one that developed them, posted them on BGG for free. And I downloaded them and played them a bunch and chatted with him a bit about them.
Yeah.
And they're great. I know he has bots available for everything.
Okay.
So if you want to play solo against the Otters, for example, you can, or you can play with multiple bots, which is
Yeah.
really cool. Like it's very, very good.
We played with a bot when we played, didn't we?
Yeah, when there was three of us. Yeah.
Yeah.
To just
And
increase.
Like
yeah.
Root's not my favorite game. I like it, but like, what I think is really cool about those games is that they're updating it and taking like the people who've bought the game and have played it's like. I don't know if advice, but like but like when people are like this is overpowered, this we need to change this. We've had so many plays where this car, whatever. Like they're really like keeping up with that, like and tweaking it as the game goes along. I think that's really cool that they're not just like we made a game, you bought it, here we go. Like
And actually
I think that's
offering-
really rad, and that they keep coming out with really like quality, good like expansions and stuff.
And not just like stickers. Like they're offering like, you want to buy the new player boards, you can order them, and also just a small baby tweak that I just want to talk about that I think is great, that I'm pretty sure you noticed too. The new player boards have rounded edges, and the old player boards are perfect squares, so you can tell which player board you're using. Like, oh, this is a square one, this is the outdated one, I don't need to use this one.
Interesting.
It's really nice.
And they also
They should just have they should just do a little version. Like a top right corner. Why do they go V something?
I don't want
right?
to see that. Just change
Just
the
turn-
no,
it's on
no.
the back. It's on the back.
No. Just round the or just the
But
next
what if a
time,
new one comes out?
Then
What are
they
you gonna do?
concave them in. Like,
Concave them in.
Perfect.
what
Just do a little V on the
they do circles. I could be wrong
Just a circular
also,
board,
but do they have? They don't have anything like that's exclusive. Like you can get everything for that game from them, right? There's no like Kickstarter.
No,
that's
like
it.
everything is available.
But,
Player mats,
I mean,
everything, right?
As someone who we love deluxe pieces, and I have a whole lot of fun getting the 3D printed upgrades for these instead of the cardboard things. It's so much fun.
It is
And
fun,
It's just a fun thing, and then
There's a
Max-
lot of cool stuff.
Well,
you
to
can
Max's point, though, Leader does not do exclusive stuff.
Yes.
Which is great, which is the reason I am still going to back their Kickstarters. As I've said before, I'm done with Kickstarter, except for Leader Games, because they don't do that marketing ploy, and I love it.
Yeah, I just appreciate that as somebody like if you were trying to get into Root now, it's not like you missed out. Whereas like there's been games where I've like heard about later that I want to get into, and I was like, oh, I'll never be able to get that piece, or I'll never be able to get that faction. There's no, oh, you didn't kickstart the $300, Kickstarter. You'll never be able to get the moles unless you buy them secondhand for $900. Like there's none of that shenanigans going on. It's just you want to get it, you can pay it. And I think that's really rad. I appreciate that. Even if it's not my favorite game, I appreciate the. What's the word? The whatever. I appreciate it.
yes.
What's the word I'm looking for?
The coolness.
The genuine, the authentic. Not whatever. I'll think of it after the video.
But I also like that it's very some of the factions that they've done. They've actually looked at the community, right?
Yeah,
To help
that's
create the faction,
Yeah.
the new factions, and they've got several more plans. And I think. Every time you play, you just go, "Oh my God, this would be a cool fact. What if there's bears that did this?" And it's one of those games that because I'm such a design-minded person as an architect, right? Like I constantly just designing and thinking things. So this game really is just one of those. It's just like, oh, what about this? And what about this? It's a lot of fun. I just have a lot of fun with it. Whether I'm actually try and go and create my own whatever, just thinking about it just gets my brain going, and I love that.
Gotta mention.
So I appreciate that in the game. That it's just. It's unintentional, I'm sure. Just the just what the game is lend itself to that aspect.
It does.
I love it.
It has a lot of open space for people to think about.
Yeah.
The deck is really good too. The new deck is great. The new deck lets you take player powers from other people's factions, basically,
Oh, right.
which is cool. So,
That was your number 2?
That was my number 2.
My number 2, speaking of Kickstarter,
oh boy.
is my only expansion, which is Spirit Island Jagged Earth. These guys are fools and don't like cooperative games as much as me.
Most.
Spirit Island is a great game, but Jagged Earth adds the amount of content it adds to me is like insane. There is like an infinite amount of variability with just the different spirits that you can play, and then the different adversaries that you can play, and even the different sides of the board that you can play, and just how many cards it adds. I feel like no game will be very similar unless you've played like the same everything a whole bunch. And the theming of the spirits with you're the volcano spirit, and the way it slowly builds up and erupts with power, or the fog spirit where you really feel like you're spreading slowly across the board and stuff like that. They just really feel thematic. And when this first came out, I played it a whole bunch. I need to play it more, but not with them because they don't like this game as much as I do.
I haven't even played it yet.
Oh, you haven't played this one?
I don't like co-op, so I don't play this.
Oh,
It's just
okay.
right.
I thought you played it. This is you.
Yeah,
It's just
I
fine. I'm just projecting
played
onto
it.
Keegan. I'm sorry, Keegan.
projecting.
I'm just
I
going to do
played
this. So, keep it PG.
Fuck no.
Spirit Island is rad, and the expansion is totally worth getting.
Kind of like what you feel with Root, where you're like, I appreciate it, and it is absolutely worth its money because of how much they add
It
to
gives
it,
you
and just
so much.
oh my, they did a fantastic job with it. Just because I'm just co-op is just it's fine. I like competing more and calculating at points rather than just trying to work together. I mean, there are some cooperatives I like. The new Kingdom Rush is a lot of fun. It's just I don't know, co-ops has not always been my thing, but
Yeah, same.
I can appreciate it for what they did.
Well, we'll play Keegan.
Well done.
I want
That
to try
is
it.
my
I wanna
number
try it.
2. So we doing number 1s now?
Yeah, we're at number 1.
Number 1.
We all say it at the exact same time and talk about them at the exact same time.
Monopoly.
No.
Shit! Mine is Monopoly too!
My number 1's already been mentioned, which is Obelisk of the Sun.
Obelisk of the Sun.
Tekenu.
Obelisk of the Obelisk.
For the very similar reasons as Bonfire. They're different, but they're
practically the same game.
When I first saw this and read the rules and looked through it, I was like, oh, this looks interesting. But then we didn't play it. And then we were going to play it again, and I read through the rules and watched videos, and I was like, this looks like a slog, and I'm going to hate it. And I like Teotihuacan and Zolkin, and I thought, I'm not going to like this game. And then we didn't play it. And then months later, we randomly were like, we're going to play Tekenu. And we did a rules refresh, and we played it, and I absolutely loved every minute of it. There's only 32 actions I think you get in the game or something around there.
Less than that.
Is it
Less than
it's
that.
It's
It's
weird
16.
2 and 2. There's 4. Then the 4 is 8. I don't.
It's 16 actions, I think.
Yeah,
that's
16
it.
actions.
I can't remember, but it is. You feel every action that you're doing is really matters and counts, and the technologies and different stuff, just like with Bonfire, really dramatically changed the game with what they let you break, and it does feel like every card that flips over is you get to do what is overpowered. I love it. It was a very tight game. Ryan won because he happened to have player
Did I win?
initiative, and you won by 3 points because of it.
Yeah.
I was ahead of you by 1 point, and then we were like, what's the end game thing? And it's like, oh, I get 3 points. And you beat me by 2 points. So
And I was down by 40.
but it was very enjoyable. It is a little finicky, but that really since all of us knew the rules, it was when you spun the thing and you manipulate the dice around, it really went pretty quick. Having everybody know it, how it worked, and it is a bit on the heavy side, but for some reason this one clicked. I really liked. I really enjoyed it way more than I thought I was going to. So I was pleasantly surprised. So that's my number 1, Tekenu. Need to get more plays of it.
I think it just felt like one too many things had to line up for you to be able to do pretty good.
You put On Mars on your list, so you can't talk.
No. That's just no. But that's not like that many things don't have to click together. Like happen to just have to randomly be there.
It didn't
And
really.
all the matching, and you're just like, why does this also have to match this, then also have to match
It
this?
didn't feel that bad to me.
No.
You can manipulate.
No.
You can manipulate the number on the die. You can spend 2 scraps to do an Anubis action, so you can do anything you want with any
Or
die
you
you
can
want.
just take a different
Or
action.
you just do a different action.
No. Ignore.
I'm with Max on this one.
I didn't say I didn't like it. I'm just like, this is just
Erroneous!
why is this?
I rest my
Lined up
case.
too much. I
God damn, I have to
think.
put a limiter on the noise on this. It's gonna be like spike. Okay, so
Just do a headphone warning.
Keegan,
Yeah.
I get to end
That.
because mine's the best.
It's an expansion. No, it's not.
I'm
So
trying to think of what yours is.
my number 1.
Yeah.
Mine
Give us
probably-
a slow intro and
I-
see if I can figure it out.
My last thing I'll say will give it away. I was very excited about this just because I thought it looked neat. I couldn't find it for a while. That I happened just to get it randomly on Amazon because it was
Merv.
Oh, Merv.
Called it.
Merv. Yeah. No, I had it on pre-order at a place that couldn't get it, and then randomly on Amazon I got a notification saying we have 5 in stock. You can get 1 by tomorrow. I was like, yup, got it. And I got it for less than MSRP.
That's your number 1?
Yes. And speaking of tight games, you get 12 actions in Merv, and that's it.
Merv was rad. I think I needed
Merv
more
Heart of the
plays.
Silk
but-
Road.
Merv Heart of the
Is
Silk Road,
name
yes.
of the game.
And that was the first game in months where I got excited just from the rule book. Like, I was reading the rule book and I was like, okay. Oh, you can activate everyone else's buildings and they get 1 resource, but you get everything. Sweet, I love it. Like, this is really cool. I really love the center grid a lot, where you pick, depending on what round you're in or turn you're in, you pick 1 of 5 positions, and then you pick 1 building and put a building on it, and then activate all your buildings of the same color, or your same buildings, or your opponent's buildings. You pick theirs, take the resources, and you get to pick the action from the tile you picked, or these other 2 actions you can take whenever you would want as an optional action. And it's great. I think the game is super tight. You can get more done than you think, as long as you get the routing correct.
That's always fun. I like that in
Yeah,
games.
there's a lot of
It doesn't
build up.
seem like you can, but it builds up.
Well, there's that fun decision
Shit.
thing. It's like if I take someone else's buildings and use their actions, they're going to get a resource. But then it's like, at the beginning, it felt like, oh, well, why would I want to give them that? But then I was like, oh, well, then I blocked them from getting like tons of resources by going to their own space.
Going to their own
there's
realm,
that like,
yeah.
what are they going to try and take? Are they going to build a gate? Are they? There's that constant like trying to figure out what other people are doing because you want to block them, but you need to do what's good for you, and you don't get a lot of time.
And sometimes you don't even have the choice.
There's a lot of
because
yeah.
like you need to like protect the buildings with building walls or putting warriors out, which gives you a benefit of protecting your opponent's stuff. But I needed to build some damn walls because you guys were protecting my shit. So then,
That's right.
but then you guys took all the wall building spaces, so I had to waste a turn just to pick one of your locations to give you resources so I could build walls.
But
Like,
then it didn't even feel like after I was looking at that, I was like, oh, I don't even feel like building the walls for me. Like some spots it made a difference, but some spots I was like, oh, I could have just let those go. I didn't need to like really focus. Like there's
but
a
it
lot
pumped
of
you up enough on the influence track on the top.
yeah, that did
to
help.
unlock
Yeah,
everything.
the way things interconnect, it reminded me a bit of that
Targi.
other that the
I
way
was gonna
that
say
worked.
that Targi, that
but
is that
like
middle.
Targi mixed with oh shoot, what's the Feld game with the Mancala wheel.
Trajan.
Trajan. It reminded me of Trajan. There's like 6 different kind of not trap, but like locations, and they all kind of gel together in different ways.
Yeah.
And you need to kind of do a little bit of each one, or maybe really go into 1 or 2, but then leave the other. So, and like I was working so hard to go up the technology track. I don't know if that's what it's called. It's like a technology
Moss track.
The Moss, yeah. And like I worked on it like all game to get up there, and then in one turn Ryan was like halfway up, and the next turn he was all the way up, and I was like, how did like. But that did give me. There's like
That's the thing with the
bonuses and minuses, but like you know, I got benefits throughout the game that you didn't get because
Yeah.
I was up there. But you got the same amount of points. Yeah, there were so many. Yeah, it was really interesting. I need to play more plays of it.
It reminded me of the Lost Ruins of Arnak. I just tried to go up on that.
The tech track?
The tech
Yeah.
track. But then you just bolted up ahead,
Yeah.
and I'm like, oh, this did not work at all.
Yeah, there's some really interesting decisions in Merv, and like like you said, the fact that you only get 12 actions is like it's
feels really tight.
tense right from the beginning.
Yeah.
There's that
Yeah,
tension
it's-
of like I have to do this, I have to do
You
that.
really need to kind of know your strategy going into this game because it's so limited and
Yeah.
you can easily get blocked out of a spot.
Yeah.
that you could really want, or like someone just takes your row that you have 3 houses in, and you're like, well, crap, that would have been 4 resources that I really needed that round, but you're not getting it.
I can see with Merv the potential that it could get stale, mainly because the only thing that changes is the center buildings, and it could just be like that might not be variable enough to keep the game fresh all the time, because the points you're getting between at the end of every scoring phase, those 4 spots are always going to be the same. The spices come out randomly, but you know the ratio of the spices, and more than likely you're going to get the one you want, except for black pepper because it's hard as fuck to get. And then the order cards are always the same order cards in the same order. So that's the thing to worry about. Like maybe there needs to be an overlay expansion.
That changes a little bit, but I also don't know that it's a game. Like I think if you played it 4 or 5 times, you might kind of get the idea of it. But then it's a good enough game. I feel like you hold it in your collection, you pull it out 6-7 months later with either new people or with just have a fresh take on it.
I don't know that I want to play with new people because I feel like I just know where strategy I'm going to want to go. It just feels like it just feels like, oh, I already know too much of it. Like I'm really gonna probably destroy you in this game. Because I've already played this 2 or 3 times. I'm like, I found kind of an optimal route, or like.
That's where I try and do like a crazy strategy. Like if I play a game like where I know I'm gonna destroy somebody, I try and do something silly or stupid. Not silly, but like something that either like something that's gonna really work or really bomb. Like.
But I feel like, but then at that point you kind of already know how this game flows. And you're already going to be able to do that strategy a little bit more efficiently.
It might be one of those.
I just think tight games in general, where you have a very, very limited amount of actions, are very hard to play with people that haven't played the game before, but you have, because
we were talking about that before. Tekenu's,
because
if you play that game a couple of times, you should beat somebody.
Because those are games you have to route, because there's it's 12 actions and the game's done. Like Arnak though, or something else, or like Everdell. It's variable actions. Like people might have more actions, people might have less, so they have a better chance of maybe winning. Maybe they mess something up. Maybe you mess something up. But like 12 actions, game's over.
I guess it depends on the player though too, because there's a lot of games where where there's a variable ending. Like even with Red Cathedral, it ends when somebody gets 6, and sometimes I overplan and I get my stuff done too early, and then I have like 3 or 4 actions that are kind of wasted because I didn't like squeeze in the points enough to last the game that long. There are times where like I underplan and like I need 2 more actions to finish a game, but somebody ended it early. So games that end randomly are actually seem like a little bit harder for me as a gamer, where if I know I've got 12 rounds, I can kind of plan. But not everybody's like that. But it is.
It's better, I think, to play more open games like that with people that haven't played a game before, because they have a bit more of I can maybe be able to do more things and figure things out more. Where this game, 12 done.
I think the one biggest issue I have, and I know this is purely an opinionated thing, and people in the comments will be like, no, I really love it, is the art.
The art's beautiful, isn't it, Ryan?
I'm tired of games putting all the colors at the same saturation. Like Castle of Burgundy doing it.
Iwari did it.
No.
You have two of the totem colors look almost identical.
That's just them, they're using the same color. Similar. It's the saturation on some of these boards that are all the same, that all trying to scream for its own attention. And I'm like, artistically, when you look at something in artwork, there's something that dominates that is just more pleasurable to look at. Is when you have, like, you're looking at color palettes and you're trying to make something that's going to be interesting to look at. You have one dominating color, and the other colors just help like.
And Lisboa had all blue, and you hated it.
Yeah, because it's just like, where the like.
Well, it's your dominant color, though.
I mean, that's fine if blue's the dominant color, but then add some more to kind of like ground it all or give some contrast. This just like, it's all the same. Where's your contrast? Where's your lights and your darks? Iwari is so beautiful because the yellows are what really pop, where the blues are kind of dulled out a little bit. It's just, that's what good art is.
Because they have the blue jeans thing going on.
The blue jeans?
Yeah, blue jeans. The blue jeans color theory, blue jeans Christmas Royal. Red and green go together. Blue jeans is blue.
I mean, that's just
blue and yellow, blue and orange.
But that's one color. That's just like a complementary.
Yeah, and the complementary.
I mean, it works, but it's because yellow pops out so much more, whereas they toned down the blues a bit. Even the sky is toned down. It's not that same saturation that the yellow is, and it's really nice.
Guys,
to
this
look
is a
at.
top 5 of 2020. I wear all black. I don't care what the.
I'm gonna say I disagree with Ryan.
As someone who does architecture and has looked at paintings and stuff and just understands like how color theory works within art, I want that in a board. And I know, probably during that time, if you look at it, they probably had those type of colors. And if you look at Rome, they also had just bold colors. But it's just like sometimes when you look at the board and I go, what is... Everything is screaming at me here.
Distracting to you.
It feels distracting. And why is everything screaming at me?
I noticed that on some games. This one I didn't feel like it was particularly fun. I like the art for this one.
As not an architect, but as a person that appreciates art, I think it looks beautiful. I love it.
Give us your opinion.
But yeah,
Tell us if Ryan is
Merv is my number
right
one.
or wrong.
I just want to play the game more.
Wait, let's do let's see if I can guess it.
Yeah, do the lead-in. It's another expansion.
Look around.
Oh, I know what it is.
You guys should know it instantly.
I already know what it is.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Everdell.
Yeah, Spire Press.
Oh, right! Oh, did Everdell come out this year?
It did.
It didn't even make your list?
It didn't make my list because I only played Spirecrest.
Oh, right. I forgot about
I
Gugong.
wanted to play Belfair 2 to really then. But I think Gugong, the Panjun expansion, I just blew my mind. I thought it was fantastic. Gugong's in my top 10 list, and it's just another expansion similar to Architects and Oceania that nothing needed to be fixed in the game. Maybe you thought so.
But
I don't think it needed to necessarily be fixed, but it added additional things that were already there. It added a new little feature that didn't overwhelm the game with the little betting aspect, but then also gave you routes to get workers and more jade. So it just it added.
Gugong's great.
It made some routes viable that you could do, and I thought that was fantastic because they were already there and
you fixed something.
Fixed it or just gave it its chance. I mean, you could possibly do it.
Yeah.
You could do it. It may be more difficult. It just may be a more difficult route. You could do it.
Jade.
Yeah, Jade route. You could possibly do it depending on what decrees were out there.
Base game's hard for
It's
Jade.
just very difficult. I don't know that it didn't need to be fixed necessarily, but it helped it. And I thought
I just like the 10
really
card and the
loved
0 card a lot. Those were great.
Added those to it were a lot of fun. They didn't need to be in there. They just were a lot of fun to add to it.
And the two different, the central area with the two different directions go up, that was really rad.
I agree with Ryan that the Gugong expansion is my favorite expansion for the year. By far. Like, I love Rue, but the Gugong expansion just is so good. And we have a review on it. And I'm going to just echo with what I said there. I wasn't sure if I liked base game Gugong as it was.
Okay.
I wasn't sure if I liked it. And then we played it with Panjun, and it fixed anything I had wrong with the Gugong base game. Like, I just think Panjun I'm never going to play base game Gugong ever again. The Panjun expansion, I had the issue with Jade didn't seem worth it ever to do Jade. Even with the decrees coming out, Jade just did not seem worth it. And then it was so hard to get additional workers, in my opinion. And I like the fact that there is a few ways to get some more people to do more stuff. Because I think Gugong feels better when you can do it just a little bit more.
I didn't play base game enough to have an opinion about the Jade, but I know a lot of people talk about that. But
I don't think I once ever went to that spot to get people, and I always felt like I could do stuff.
I
don't know. Maybe I was just good at plan. Like I like that because I don't know if I figured out how to plan it. I don't know. I never felt like I was worried about workers.
I just think Panjun just makes things for Gugong that didn't work for me work so much better.
I don't know why you would ever play without certain
modules
of it. Yeah, it's just they work. So I don't know that you need all of them, but every play, but definitely.
Yeah, you don't need. It was fun. It's fun playing with all of them. Yeah.
Yeah. That's a solid choice. I didn't think about Gugong.
Those are all of our top 5. Now there was, obviously we mentioned earlier, a huge list of 50-something games we had just put on that either we own, I'm pretty sure we own almost all of them between us somehow.
Owned or had owned.
There's a whole lot of other games obviously that came out.
And between the three of us, we played almost all the ones we have on the list too. Some variation of the three of us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So obviously there's a whole lot more games that came out, and there's going to be ones that be like, well, you guys, I know what some of the Marvel stuff, and I don't think any of us really cared for those games, but those are our top fives, and we're looking forward to getting those other ones of that 50-something list out to actually play. But overall, 2020 for board games was real good.
Yep.
Enjoyed it. A lot of great. I mean, I thought there was a lot of great Kickstarters that I still can't wait to get. I'm excited for them.
Grand Austria.
Grand Austria. Oh yeah.
Oath.
Can't wait to get the Kanban in.
Oh God.
And have a look out for our oh gosh, now I knew. Fun-filled February month that we will be doing, and then a very, very vital month.
Or series.
whatever,
Depending how burned out we get from playing so many VTOL games.
Yes, so
We're alive afterwards.
We should definitely do. I would like to do a in June when it's halfway through 2021, us revisiting our 2020 list.
Ooh,
Because I know we're going to get more 2020 games to the table. It'd be fun.
That's true.
Oh yeah.
To see what sticks.
Yeah.
I guess if you're still listening to the end of this video here after it's been an hour of our let us know what reviews you'd like to see. We'd like to know which games that you'd like us to review. We're also working on a very in-depth root teach that we will go really in-depth with each character to really help you actually understand it. Because, that game, playing for the first time, trying to understand that asymmetric, there's not a whole lot of great teaches out there. So we're going to be doing that. If that is well received, maybe we'll do some vast ones since it's very similar.
I want to do a Feudum teach still really bad.
And a big Feudum teach.
Yep.
So if there's anything else you guys like to see, let us know. Thanks everyone.
Merry Christmas.
Happy New Year.
Christmas already over.
Happy holidays.
Happy New Year. Happy 2020 is dead.
All acquaintance be forgotten.
I'm cutting all this. I'm cutting all of it.
Enjoy your stimulus check.
Hopefully.
From Big Boy Mitch.
Big point. Right.
Cool.